What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. So we all know what's went down this off season, but at the same time, we also know that there's going to be trade proposals and things like that that's going to arise simply because of the Clippers situation, and not only that, because there's always movement in the NBA. It's like it never is a standstill. So it's always movement, always drama in the NBA. That's just the way it is. But this trade proposal here, in some people's eyes, might actually make them forget about Paul George. Now, I say some people's eyes because I don't feel like everybody's going to feel this way, obviously. And the trade proposal that's being put on the table, that's surprising trade proposal that's put on the table, or however you want to look at it, is the Washington Wizards in regards to Jordan Poole. Now, we all know Jordan Poole's a wild card. I've been said that about him. When he was with the Warriors, he kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, obviously, getting punched in the face by Draymond Green and taking the last shot of a couple games a couple years ago instead of Stephen Curry taking the last shot. So, he definitely, has question marks around him. And then he goes to Washington. And he looks like a very individualized type player, meaning that he's only worried about himself and his stats and him shooting the ball and just jacking up shots, gunning the ball the whole time, pulling the trigger, not really playing with the winning mentality that a lot of people think that he should have in him by now, simply because he came from Golden State and he's seen how to win. He's won a championship with Golden State at that. So, with that being said, like, he should have a lot more security about himself as a player and everything, and what he's trying to implement when he steps on the floor, rather than just playing like somebody who wants to get stats and just wants to get paid. And a lot of players are actually like that. But, when you've won a championship, you would think that their mindset might change a little bit. But obviously his hasn't, because maybe he won it a little bit too early before his maturity actually came. But the good thing for the Clippers is if they're able to land somebody like him and get him on the Clippers, I'm not saying that he will erase, Paul George, and people forget about Paul George as in like, hey, this is Paul George plus a better version. I feel like he can give the Clippers another scoring type guard or slash forward. I think he could play the three. I think he can play the three. I don't believe he does, but I'm saying he gives him another scorer who can create their own offense, and that's really what the Clippers are really needing. They need somebody else who can kind of like create their own offense. Even though the Clippers made a lot of good solid moves this offseason, but those guys that are solid moves that they made can only feed off of what James Harden gives them and or Kawhi Leonard. They're not really guys who can create their own shot and get their own shot at any time they want to. And in this league, you need all the scoring you can, because it's a 3-point league, especially. It's been that way for a while. So if you got guys who can put the ball in the basket and score on their own will and not really need to be assisted to score, that definitely betters your chances offensively to make you more well-rounded offensively. And, if he happened to come to, LA here, then that would be good to a degree, because like I said, the Clippers will have somebody that, can put the ball in the basket and don't really need any assistance doing it. But at the same time, with him being a wild card, you don't know what Jordan Poole you're going to get. And that's the thing. He can come in and try to, redirect things, because he he's the youth of the team. He would be the future of the team, and he might come in and feel like he can take over. And that's not exactly what the Clippers would want him to do, because Kawhi is still the guy. Regardless of he is. And he's won more championships, and he's way more proven. And the one championship Jordan Poole did win, it wasn't really too much because of him. He contributed. Don't get me wrong. He definitely contributed. But at the same time, having the Splash Brothers along with Draymond definitely makes life a lot easier when you have that type of cachet around you, because those guys have won multiple championships, been to multiple finals, and they know what it's like to go through the ebbs and flows of the finals to find ways to win. And they've also been on the losing side of the finals as well. So they definitely have experienced both sides of it. So, it definitely helps having that type of, foundation around you. So, we have to take that in consideration. But at the same time, coming to the Clippers, he would be, I don't know if he would be looked at as a second scorer on the team, even though he probably would feel that way. And rightfully so, he could feel that way because honestly, he would kind of sort of be filling Paul George's role. I just don't know if he can live up to a second star player because Paul George couldn't even do it. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it would be tough. It would be a real roller coaster, I think. But I think if the way the Wizards are looking at it, the Wizards are really just looking to get rid of Jordan Poole from what I'm hearing. It's not even really a situation where, they want to try to find the right situation. They just feel like his attitude and his demeanor and everything just isn't right for their organization from what I'm hearing in some of the sources and stuff that I was reading. But at the same time, when you look at it from this perspective, it could be a situation that he's acting like that because he knows Washington is no good. He knows Washington's never going to win a championship. He knows Washington's probably not going to come close to even making the playoffs because their team and what they stand for as an organization is just a team that's posted in Washington that fans can go to and just have a place to chill and maybe watch the opposing basketball team beat up on their team. So with him knowing that, maybe he's not really fully engaged because of the situation that he's in. So if we look at it from that standpoint, he might actually come to the Clippers and play very well, if the Clippers actually find a way to acquire him. Now, of course, you've seen on the screen earlier about the trade proposal. Now, Norman Powell is a name that's out there along with PJ Tucker in regards to the trade proposal. And, when I look at it from that standpoint, that's not too awfully bad. Because you're getting a real good scorer back in Jordan Poole. The only problem is you have to be able to control Jordan Poole. And I think, somebody like Ty Lue can actually control him a lot better than whoever the coach is on Washington. You know what I'm saying? And apparently, Steve Kerr had a hard time controlling him as well. But at the same time, it just might be one of those situations where the Draymond situation took over more than anything else. So, with him being in a situation where he has an opportunity to win more games, make the playoffs, be a contending type team with him being on there and, following behind a Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, he can really actually be a very good solidified third scorer for them easily. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, with his game, he's really good. He's really a good scorer. He's all that. And I always thought his game was really nice, but it just needs to be tuned up some, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, working with the right coaches and the right people and being around the right clientele can actually make him be a lot better player than what he was for the Warriors. So, coming to the Clippers, Ty Lue can definitely get a lot better out of him than what the Washington Wizards have gotten out of him. I know that. And him being in a situation where he has a possible chance to win again, he might actually tighten up a lot more being on a team like the Clippers, going into a new arena where you definitely want, more star power. And him going to a situation where, he could possibly win again, it might intrigue him a lot more to play at the level he's supposed to and play with more maturity also. So, really, this could be a really good situation for the Clippers if they, push through and be a little persistent in the situation. It could be a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but it can also be a bad situation that they don't have a second star player as in a Paul George type player who can put up points and put more onus on Kawhi Leonard to score, because now you're asking him to do more of the scoring load without, another star there like Paul George. So having somebody like Jordan Poole to kind of fill that role a little bit takes a little bit more scoring load off of Kawhi Leonard. And I can tell you, Jordan Poole will have a lot of open gaps where he can go to and get to the paint, score, shoot threes, a lot of open threes. He'll have a lot of open opportunities because with Kawhi and James Harden on the floor, the opportunities are just there for you. All you have to do is just cash in. You know what I mean? So it's if he's playing free basketball like that and playing to that degree, that might actually fit him well. It might actually fit the Clippers well. They might lose Norman Powell off the bench, but at the same time, they could just, rotate one other guy to the bench and get bench production there. But they would be really, really, a lot more complete offensively with somebody like Jordan Poole, especially if they can keep him engaged and, materialize him a little bit better than what the Wizards can do. I think it's a win-win for the Clippers, honestly. I think it would work out possibly better than, it's a better situation it is in Washington. I do know that. So, I mean, if I were the Clippers, I definitely would pursue it a little bit more and see what they can get out of the situation. And hopefully maybe they could land a player like him who can give him at least a little bit more offense. And if they could work on his defense a little bit, which over time that can happen. And, the Clippers might actually be, even a little bit better than what they are today.